National parks. They're kind of like nature's version of a luxury resort run by a silent assassin. One minute it's postcard views and fresh aid, and the next it's cliffs, currents, lightning storms, and wildlife that does not care about your bucket list. Yet humans still think, let's get a selfie. Today we're stepping straight into the most dangerous national parks in the USA, and there's no better place to start this adventure than with National Park number 15, Acadia in Maine. This is one of the most visited parks on the East Coast. With a name like Acadia, you'd expect charming coastal scenery, postcard-worthy, right? The park draws over 4 million visitors annually, all assuming iron rungs and a good attitude are enough. They're not. Even here, cliff trails kill. And no, it's got nothing to do with wildlife. A hiker tackled Precipice Trail on a damp morning, one of the US's most exposed scrambles, with 1,000-foot drop-offs and wet granite. One misplaced step, no recovery, just a fall that ended everything. This was an experienced hiker, but there are deadlier parks than Acadia. This list is just getting started. Joshua Tree National Park looks peaceful until it quietly kills you. The name gives quirky Instagram backdrop, but the reality screams, bring more water. Straddling the Mojave and Colorado deserts, it covers 800,000 acres. Temperatures regularly exceed 110 degrees Fahrenheit. No shade, no cell signal. The trails look manageable, so naturally millions arrive underprepared. Rangers conduct hundreds of rescues annually. Some come too late. A hiker set out on a clear morning, fit and experienced. 2 miles in, the heat took over. Disorientation, then he collapsed. He never made it back. Deserts don't negotiate. Joshua Tree just waits. If you think Joshua Tree was brutal, wait until you see what's coming next. Say hello to Mount Rainier National Park in Washington. It's the most glaciated peak in the lower 48, and apparently, altitude and ice are just optional extras. Rainier hosts 26 named glaciers covering 35 square miles, crevasses deep enough to swallow climbers whole, storms that materialize without warning. It's a stunning summit, if you ignore the whole dying on the way up part. Over 400 climbers have attempted rescues on its slopes. Many didn't need a rescue, they needed a recovery. But Mount Rainier's weather makes climbing look straightforward. And if you think Rainier is unforgiving, Olympic National Park next door makes it look like a warm-up act. 1 million acres of temperate rainforest, alpine wilderness, and rugged coastline where the wilderness swallows you whole. Search and rescue teams log hundreds of missions annually. People get lost for days, some for good. If you like these deep dives, hit subscribe. I've been researching these parks so long, I'm starting to look like a missing persons report. Isolation is one of the deadliest forces in any national park. Most victims skip the trail map, packed for a stroll, or made decisions suggesting they were in an argument with common sense. Tell someone where you're going. The dangers only get more vertical heading south. Welcome to Zion National Park, Utah. A cathedral of sandstone carved by ancient rivers. Why visit? It's the Pool of the Heights. People go because they dare, or because common sense took the day off. Angel's Landing rises 1,488 feet above the canyon floor. The drop? Vertical. Earth saying, nope, not for you. It hasn't stopped millions from trying. A hiker reached the final chain section, the last stretch before the summit. One misplaced step. No recovery. Fatal. This trail has a kill count that would impress a Hollywood screenwriter. You don't have to climb to die in a national park. Glacier, Montana is proof of that. Glacier National Park has a wilderness of sorts if you squint and really commit to the bit. One of the highest grizzly concentrations in the lower 48, because savage cold and remote terrain weren't dangerous enough, someone added apex predators. Over 1 million acres. Weather turns lethal in minutes. Trails vanish under snow. Over 1,000 grizzlies roam land that has no interest in your survival. A hiker ventured off trail alone with no bear spray and was mauled before rescue teams could respond. This was an experienced outdoorsman, but other parks lure you in with beauty only to say, psych. Yosemite has major bragging rights for that. It's the most iconic national park in California. 4 million visitors annually. Granite walls, cascading waterfalls, trails built right alongside them. Even in nature, branding matters. El Capitan rises 3,000 feet, Half Dome tops 8,839 feet. There's even a waterfall you can walk behind. Plenty to admire, assuming you enjoy sightseeing near fatal drop-offs. Over 1,000 deaths since records began. Granite gets slippery fast, footing fails, drops are vertical. The rock is smooth, heavy with mist, and not interested in keeping you upright. Survive Yosemite's granite? Wait until you see what's waiting in the Sequoia forests. If national parks did beauty contests, Sequoia and Kings Canyon would win by a landslide. The largest living tree on Earth stands 275 feet tall. But don't plan a casual hike. Altitude and exposure are the twin killers here. Elevation tops 14,000 feet. Oxygen thins, judgment follows, and rescue teams operate hours from the nearest trailhead. By the time rangers respond, the window has closed. If you think Sequoia was unforgiving, wait until you see a park with no trees, no shade, and nowhere to hide. Canyonlands, Utah is next. After a park that actively wants to crush you, let's head somewhere that at least tries to look manageable. Canyonlands, Utah has 337,000 acres of canyon wilderness. The White Rim Trail earns the reputation. Sweeping red rock views, technical terrain, it looks like Mars. All thanks to zero water sources. Nature's driest punchline. Zero margin for error, heat means dehydration within hours. Temperatures spike fast. Rescue access disappears. And even after rangers respond, the window often hasn't waited. If you think Canyonlands was harsh, wait until the Smokies swallow you whole. Over decades, Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee and North Carolina accumulated a reputation narrowing the line between America's most visited park and its most dangerous, like putting a welcome mat over a trap door. The park draws 12 million visitors annually. Trails fork without warning, cell service vanishes, people go missing, some never seen again. A major search operation once mobilized hundreds of responders. The subject? A 6-year-old. Never found. It proved how quickly a family hike becomes a missing persons case, and there's history to prove it. If you think the Smokies are eerie, the Grand Canyon will finish the job. Grand Canyon National Park in Arizona is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world at 277 miles long. In any given season, it becomes USA's most deceptive killing ground. Hikers descend during cool mornings. Heat builds from the canyon floor up. Hours become emergencies. Days become recoveries or funerals. Temperatures hit 120 degrees Fahrenheit at the bottom. Rescuers respond, but the canyon fights back. Over 800 deaths have been recorded. The canyon doesn't close for summer. Nobody gets a warning twice. The Grand Canyon doesn't forgive mistakes. But Denali doesn't even acknowledge them. From Arizona, we head to Alaska, where the park isn't famous for heat. Denali stands at 20,310 feet, America's highest peak. Known for whiteout storms, crevasse falls, and brutal cold, the plan is simple: summit and return. Instead, storms form in a matter of hours. Teams become stranded on exposed ridgelines. Search efforts mobilize across frozen terrain. Nearly 100 climbers have died on its slopes. Ever survived 3 weeks of frostbite and zero visibility? Denali doesn't send warnings. And if you think Denali was cold, Yellowstone will boil you alive. After Denali, you'd think people might respect nature's warnings. You'd be wrong. Yellowstone spans 3,500 square miles across Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, the world's most active geothermal system. Make it past the railings and you reach boiling pools. Ignore them, and Yellowstone lives up to its reputation. Temperatures exceed 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Visitors have dissolved completely. The acidic water leaves nothing behind. Rescuers arrive, but sometimes there's nothing to recover. The park permanently closed certain thermal areas afterward. If you think Yellowstone is volatile, Hawaii's volcanoes just skips that step entirely. Hawaii Volcanoes National Park responded with one of the most active geological systems on Earth and is the most precious park gem in the country. On the Big Island, lava flows reach the ocean daily. Visitors have disappeared down lava tubes where escape was impossible. Toxic gas replaces breathable air, and officials close entire coastlines. But Hawaii isn't finished. Lays, Lava meeting seawater produces hydrochloric acid clouds. Invisible, lethal. You don't smell it coming, and before Hawaii Volcanoes gets the last word, Death Valley already finished the conversation. Death Valley continued where Hawaii left off, at one of the most extreme environments on the planet. Located on the California-Nevada border, it holds the record for the hottest air temperature ever recorded. Here, the heat does its work. Visitors have collapsed on marked trails where escape was impossible without water. Heat stroke replaced rational thought. Rangers recovered bodies within sight of their vehicles. But Death Valley wasn't finished. Temperatures exceed 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and the ground hits 200 degrees Fahrenheit. You don't feel it coming until it's too late. Death Valley doesn't need drama. It just waits. Modern park rangers now use GPS, aerial surveillance, and emergency beacons to prevent similar tragedies. But national parks remain unpredictable. They don't care about preparation, they don't care about experience, and they don't give second chances. Humans remain curious. We see a trail on a map and want to know where it leads. Sometimes, the park answers back. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time on Pole to Pole Geography.